Okay, guys, this is a rubric that I have filled out for each of your stories. Let me show you what the things are that we're looking for. These are the skills that make writers awesome, okay? So the first one is a small narrative moment. We talked about this when we were talking about the seed stories. I want a tiny little story, not something that covers a day or a year or a whole week. We want to narrow it down to one tiny thing. So if I circled over here, this is worth 2 points. That means you have mastered the skill. So you wrote a personal narrative about a small moment in time. If I circled a 1, it's because you wrote a personal narrative, but it's not a tiny moment. It's a big, long story or something that you can't give me a lot of detail for. And if you got a 0, it's because your story was not a personal narrative. And remember, a personal narrative is a story that is true and it's about you, okay? The next one is a lead. This is the very beginning of the story, what makes it interesting at the beginning. So number 2 wrote a lead, you get 2 points if you wrote a lead that is interesting and grabs readers, 1 point if you wrote a lead, and 0 points if you did not include a lead, okay? Paragraphs. This is something that all of us need a little bit more practice on. If you divided the text into paragraphs to show when time passed, the topic changed, or different characters are speaking. 1 point if you divided the text into paragraphs but made some errors about when to change to a new paragraph. They're kind of cut in weird spots. 0 if you did not use any paragraphs at all. Transition words. These are words like first, second, then, all. Like those are transition words, ones that we use at the very beginning of paragraphs, okay? If you included some transitions, you got a 1, and if you did not use any transitions, you got a 0. Dialogue, these are quotations, things that people say. So if you use dialogue to show what characters said and punctuated it correctly, you'd get 2 points. Use some dialogue but messed up on your punctuation, you got 1. And if you did not use any dialogue at all, that would be 0 points. Details, you use lots of detail that help the reader be able to visualize the story. You put a picture in my mind. 1 if you use some details, and 0 if the story was pretty boring, didn't really tell me very much, okay? Word choice is if you used words that showed what was happening. You showed me a picture in my head and you're not just telling me, okay? You're using strong, interesting words. 1 point if you're using kind of tired, overused, kind of boring words. And 0 points if you're just telling me what happens. This girl did this, and then this happened, and then this happened, okay? If you have an interesting ending, you got 2 points. If you have an ending, you get 1 point. And if it doesn't include an ending, the story just kind of stops. Okay. Spelling. I understand if there's some spelling errors, it's okay. Spelling isn't the most important thing to me, but it is part of writing. Okay. So if you, most of your spelling is there, you'll get 2 points. If you've got some spelling errors, you probably should have edited, you'll get 1. And if you've got lots of spelling errors, we're going to give you 0 on that one. I'm saying thing with punctuation. If you've got your punctuation, your periods, exclamation points, commas, all those kinds of things in there, you'll get 2 points. If there's some errors, 1. And if there's lots of errors, there's 0. So what you're looking for, guys, now remember, it was a pre-assessment. So this is not a grade that I gave you. It's just to help you make goals to become better. So if you're looking at your rubric and you have a whole bunch of 2s and maybe a 0 in your dialogue, that can be one of your goals. I'm going to put some dialogue in my story, okay? If you have a 0 on your ending because you just kind of quit, you didn't really tie it all together, maybe you can say, all right, well, for my writing this time, I'm going to work on my ending, okay? There might be lots of things that you want to work on. There might be only 1 or 2 things. I want you to pick 3 goals that you can work on to become a better writer. And that's always what we're looking for, guys. It's just a little bit of improvement just to be a little bit better. Okay, you're going to do awesome. I'm excited to see what you come up with.